started online dating when I was 47, a few years after my divorce. I was nervous about meeting guys online. We've all heard the horror stories, but I decided to try it. So I chose a dating app, I set up a profile, and I wrote a whimsical description that included, "Looking for a long-term relationship." I was so excited to receive a message within minutes. But I quickly learned my first virtual love connection was married and scouting for a sex slave. Over the next few weeks, I received more bizarre inquiries. A 19-year-old offering me money to wrestle, another asking me to be his dominatrix, and several men in so-called open marriages just looking to have sex. I started to panic about the kinds of men I might meet online. Stalkers, rapists, psychopaths, perverts, axe murderers, men who were unemployed or still living with their parents. But you know what really terrified me? Telling a potential suitor that my children lived with their father. To ease my anxiety, anytime I shared my children's living situation, I memorized a short script. My two boys live with their dad. When I asked for a divorce, we were living in my ex-husband's childhood home with his parents, so I had to leave. My ex and I have a good relationship, and I still have a key to the house. Every time I shared that story with a man, I braced myself for a negative reaction. But I never got one. They'd say things like, "That's awesome, you have a great relationship with your ex." But anytime I told this to a woman, I heard the same response. "Oh, I am a non-custodial mother. My ex-husband is responsible for all the day-to-day needs of our two boys. We have joint custody, and per our agreement, I don't pay him child support or receive any alimony. I see my boys 2 days a week after school, and I have them every other weekend." If hearing this makes you uncomfortable, or you find yourself judging me, you're not alone. Gender-biased conventional wisdom says that a woman's primary purpose is to be a mother, and that children belong with their mom when parents divorce. As mothers, our natural instinct is to love, nurture, and care for our children. The moment our child is born, we experience this inexplicable deep love and connection that we've never felt before. And the moment we look into the eyes of this perfect little person, we almost immediately doubt in our ability to be a good mother. That's because society hands us an invisible scorecard the moment we become a mom. This scorecard rates us as bad, average, or great mothers based on the traditional mom roles and responsibilities handed down through the generations. Society celebrates moms who achieve gold star status in all categories and rejects those who fall short of these widely accepted norms and expectations. So it's not surprising that mothers have always felt tremendous pressure to receive high marks from society. When I Googled non-custodial mothers, the little I found online was predominantly around shame. According to census data, there are more than 3 million single father-headed households in the US. This suggests that there are approximately as many non-custodial mothers. And as the share of breadwinning mothers remains high and the number of stay-at-home dads continues to rise, we will see more non-custodial mothers emerge as parents split up. Every divorce and parenting dynamic is unique and complex, so there are many reasons why a mother might become the non-custodial parent. Exploring this option requires honesty and courage from both parents. A father may doubt in his ability to be the primary caregiver. A mother may fear losing that special bond she has with her children. She may also feel like she's failed as a woman. And because this arrangement isn't openly talked about or accepted, a mom may dread the inevitable judgment she will receive, especially from other women. My boys were 7 and 9 years old when my ex-husband and I separated. We had agreed on joint custody, but debated about the best living situation for our children. My ex wanted the kids to live with him. He loved being a dad, and by keeping them in the same house, they would have stability and the constant love and support of their grandparents who lived upstairs. And as the same-sex parent, he is the most important role model for our boys. He also told me I could keep my house keys and see the kids whenever I wanted. I was faced with an agonizing decision. I remember thinking, I love my children. They belong with me. I'm their mother. But I knew in my heart that keeping my kids with their dad was the most loving thing I could do for them. After I left the home, I continued to greet the kids off the bus and get them settled after school. But it was gut-wrenching every time I walked into the house we once shared as a family. Who would think that I would miss the morning rush of getting them ready for school, doing their dirty laundry, and shuttling them to swim practice? I especially missed caring for them when they were sick and kissing them goodnight. All of this was subtracted by me. But I knew I could add back even more if I was willing to stop measuring my worth against what society says is a gold star mother. As moms, we have the power to define motherhood for ourselves. We get to ask, who do I want to be for my children? And what lessons do I want to teach them? Even though I've left the traditional nest, the one I've created with my boys is still loving. I've learned that our best conversations happen when playing basketball or sitting around my kitchen table eating their favorite homemade taco dinner. And even though kissing them goodnight now happens mostly on FaceTime, we have special ways we say goodbye to each other. I've learned to let go of society's scorecard and am proud of the choices I've made for my family. But while I have let it go, I have learned that women, especially mothers, cannot. That's when it hit me. My choice triggers every mother to ask herself, am I doing a good job? We need to answer that question not by how society defines a good mother, but how we define it. Once we do that, we can step out of judgment and give ourselves permission to say, hell yes, I'm doing a great job. I'm Susan Eckstein, and I'm a speaker who dares.